Hey everyone, I'm here with a 2023 Polestar 2 and I just want to give my quick, first impressions on this car. Rented this for about 2 days in Florida, out here for a wedding, so I just thought I'd give you guys a quick snapshot of what it's like to drive this. This is a single motor, 78 kilowatt hour vehicle, and it's rear-wheel drive only. The ride is pretty firm, I will say. The tire pressure is supposed to be, 41 front, 40 rear for the standard tire pressure. So pretty high, but not atypical for a electric vehicle. I should actually say 41 front, 42 rear. This car was made July of 2022. So it's early 2023. It's got about 25,200 miles on it. It's not quite as striking of a vehicle and different as like a Tesla is, but you can definitely tell it's Volvo roots from the side profile and from the headlights, like the Thor's hammer front headlight. And definitely, it gets a few looks on the road, but nothing like some other, more interesting EVs. This has got some legacy kind of features to it. It's got a lift back design, which is pretty cool. I'll kind of show that here around the back. Yeah, so this is like a giant lift back design. Makes practicality a lot better in this car. You don't have like much under the floor. This is actually like a divider for your groceries and stuff. Under the floor here, you just have like your charging cable for at home. You can put adapters under here. If you live in a snowy climate, you could put your brush and stuff. Nice power trunk. It's quiet. It's fast. This uses like I think it's the CCS connector, kind of the standard non-Tesla charger. That's pretty standard for the US. Charges fairly quickly. I think the fastest charge speed I saw on Electrify America on the quick charger was like 154 kilowatt hours. So it wasn't like the fastest, but took about an hour to go from 19% up to 92%. Those last 10% or so over 80% take quite a while, and the charge speed dropped to like under 50 kilowatt hours after 80%. So definitely would recommend on an average basis just charging it to 80% unless you got to go really far. Let's step inside the car. I'll show you the back seat first here. It's not the roomiest of back seats, and I got my luggage here for my trip leaving today back for the Midwest. It's got enough space for someone who's about 6 feet tall, but really anybody who's over 6 feet is going to have a little bit of a problem in this. Fitting 3 across is also a bit of a challenge because the seat is just too narrow. The car is too narrow to fit 3 people side to side comfortably, unless they're maybe like 5'3" and 120, 130 pounds or less. So if you're small, I guess you could fit 3 people across, but not 6 foot guys. But overall, it's a pretty it's a fairly spacious car. It's fairly practical, kind of average when it comes to that. Headroom's a little bit tight. I think that's actually more the limiting factor than legroom itself in the back seat. But when we step inside here, as you can see, on 94% charge, it has 270 miles remaining. So this is a long range single motor, which means it does 0 to 60 in about, I've seen anywhere from like 6.2 to 6.8 seconds. So we'll just call it about 6.5 seconds, 0 to 60. Have it set on auto climate control for most of the drive here. I've definitely noticed it's a very smooth car when you're on smooth pavement, but once it gets onto some real bumps, the ride gets pretty jarring, pretty stiff. Not the most comfortable in a lot of regards. Not like a lot of ICE vehicles in this class that have a more comfortable ride. So it's definitely needs a little bit of an improvement, and I think the large wheels don't help that, and also the high tire pressure combined with the extra weight of this car and a shorter wheelbase, it just kind of adds up to a pretty stiff ride. Tires are not very grippy. They're really optimized for low rolling resistance for maximum range. So I definitely would recommend getting better tires pretty much all the time, unless you live like somewhere like here in Florida. And even here in Florida, the rain grip of these low rolling resistance tires are pretty bad. The side mirrors are pretty intricate looking. They got you know, very interesting like shape and size and everything, but it doesn't give you the best visibility, so you really got to optimize it just right for that. And this is a base model, so it doesn't even have blind spot monitoring from what I can tell. It has no adaptive cruise, but it's got lane centering and lane keep assist. Infotainment system, this is a pretty snappy system. It's not too fast. I mean, it's not too slow, but it's also not the fastest. The sound system is a Harman Kardon. I think it's a 10 or 12 speaker sound system with a subwoofer and surround sound. I would give it like a 6 or 7 out of 10. It's not amazing, but it's not bad at all. So I'd say it's about average for a car that costs about $50,000. It's about what you would expect for like a standard sound system in this class. Again, this car, I think for 2023 started just under $50,000. If you leased it, you'd get a $7,500 tax credit, but if you just buy it, you'd be looking at that $50,000 mark for the price of this base model Polestar 2. In order to get the car started, there's no start button like most electric cars, so you just put your foot on the brake. You don't have to put your seatbelt on per se, but it will chime at you, so you put it in gear right away. And then if you want the chime to go away, you got to put on the seatbelt, because the chime's pretty annoying on this, and it won't stop until you got the seatbelt on. Traditional controls here. Doors have a really solid sound from the inside. The outside feels a little less solid, a little bit more tinny, unfortunately. Visibility is probably the biggest negative of this car, because as you can see out the back there, it's not very good. 3/4 view is also blocked substantially by that rear headrest and the C-pillar, and then over the shoulder, like in order to check your blind spot with no blind spot monitoring, it's a pretty big B-pillar, but that's why this car is pretty safe, and one of the reasons why it gets good crash test ratings. So I guess you gotta have to sacrifice one for the other sometimes. Some automakers do it better though. The seatbelts hark back to Volvo's heritage, because this is a Volvo brand. It says since 1959 on there, so that's pretty cool. That's when the seatbelt was officially invented and patented by Volvo. But overall, pretty happy with this car. It's a good rental car. Charging takes quite a while. I've had to use up a lot of time doing it, so if you have a family going to Disney World or something and you don't want to sit in a parking lot for more than 30 minutes, charging up from 20 to 60 or 70%, I would recommend maybe looking at like a hybrid. But if you're just going out for like a quick jaunt and you're gonna be driving less than 200 miles and you got 30 to 60 minutes to spare to charge this thing before you drop it off at the airport, then you could make this work, I think. Day to day, you can charge this at home, so you won't have that issue, of course. But overall, it's pretty smooth. It's really quiet, much quieter than a Tesla Model 3. Rides a little bit better than a Tesla Model 3, but you're not impressing anybody with the ride per se. Overall, it's been a fine rental car. I think there are other better electric vehicles in the category, but overall I'm pretty satisfied with it. And for the price, upper 40s, low $50,000, and then if you factor in the tax credit, you can get actually a pretty good deal on these. And on the used market, you can get them for under $30,000 for a 2 to 3 year old one with like 30,000 miles. So pretty good deal on the used market too. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up here, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Quick review on the 2023 Polestar 2 single motor long range. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the section below. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.